And if you want a smoking hot kitchen, we've got a great idea. Why not add a fun backsplash? And Tiffany Kearns is here from Home Interiors, a great design store where you guys do carpet, flooring, tile,
backsplash, countertops,
you name it.
Yeah, and we also help not only the flooring aspect of it, but also just like the whole look of everything.
And let me tell you, if you're building a house or remodeling, it's a lot of work, and you go decision crazy, and it's nice to have somebody, it's nice to have an expert kind of guide you along, you know?
Yeah, definitely, because if you've never built before, it can be really overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't know where to start.
Yes, tell me about it. All right, tile backsplash. We actually, take a look. We just did it to the kitchen here, and it looks amazing. It was not a huge ordeal. We did tell us about the tile that we put back there.
Well, we actually did a 1x1 frosted glass mosaic on the backsplash, and we didn't do any type of special pattern or anything like that. We just did the straight set. And with the blends of the different colors, you just got a real interest. And you didn't really need to do much more than that because it was just a really good look just on its own.
Tiffany, they come in sheets, so you see these little teeny, tiles, and people are like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. But that they already come in sheets with the pattern and all those different colors right on each one of the sheets.
Yeah, so actually installation, especially if the sizing of your backsplash just kind of works out perfectly. Sometimes you don't even need to cut some of those. Although if you do need to cut glass, you do have to have a special type of saw for that, so it can be a little tricky in that part, but otherwise, it's really easy.
I tell you, I'm absolutely loving it, and I already have been talking to my husband Bob, and I'm like, we got to do this at home. We got to do it at our cottage. So there it is, the finished look, and it just takes it to a whole nother level, even that little area.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to kind of highlighted the color of the cabinets really well, and as well as just kind of making it a little fun and funky, and just kind of spicing things up.
It is, absolutely. Now, Tiffany brought along some of the samples because there are a zillion different types of tile you can do. So let's just show people, whatever your taste, this little project, I mean, you're not like putting new cabinets in or countertops or just putting a tile backsplash in, and you've got a zillion different types.
Right. The glass is a little bit more of a contemporary look, so that may not be for everyone. But sometimes if you wanted to kind of have a similar look, if you want to go really classic, if you just go with a stone, it's the same 1,000 years ago and it'll be the same 1,000 years from now. So you're really not locking yourself into any type of trend or anything like that when you go with a stone.
That's really nice.
And here we have, a mixed color of travertine, and then, here's some different slates that you can use. And then even over here, they do some fun stuff where they mix the glass in with some of the stone just to kind of add some different textures and colors and everything.
That's great. Are these little guys like the real in thing right now?
Yeah, I mean, not only is this in for, like what we did on the set here as the whole backsplash, but it's a really good way to kind of just use like a little bit of an accent. Especially, the economy the way it is, everyone's trying to make their pennies go as far as they can. And so a good way to kind of get that little bit of punch of color and that look is to incorporate it with just a basic field tile. So, something like this, a 6x6 tile, you can do something really basic on the backsplash and then just use these little pieces and use them as like little punches of color. And we could, have this tile on a diagonal and then have these little glass pieces that's just like a little accent. And you can do like fun little patterns with that as well. And then that way, you're getting still that same effect, but you're able to get more for your buck.
Do it for a lot less. Tell me about, first of all, I felt this is the coolest thing ever. Tell me about these.
This is actually just a glazed porcelain tile, and it just has a lot of really cool colors in it. It comes on a 12x12 sheet, and so you'd get a good majority of this. And so something like this, too, where there's a lot of color, may be a little overwhelming for people as a full backsplash. So this would be a perfect example of something that you might just buy one sheet of, and then we just use it, sporadically throughout the backsplash.
What about this one? This is, I love this. We'll just leave it right here so they can get a shot of it. But tell me about that.
Again, this is just a 12x12 sheet of glass, and this is a good one to kind of point out because this particular glass is a lot thinner than some of the other glasses that we have. And so if you do decide to incorporate that with a different type of tile, you really just have to make sure that either the heights are somewhat consistent or your installer is talented enough where they can build up that thinner tile to make it meet the larger tile.
It's just really cool. I'm actually, we were talking about backsplashes in the kitchen, but I could see that in a bathroom or something like that. Look at these. Talk about really funky and cool. Because people are doing a lot. They're getting crazy in their houses.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And actually what you mentioned too about the, doing something in the bathroom. A lot of times, this is a great example. We might take this and cut up the sheets, and instead of having the regular backsplash from the countertop company, we might just do like a small strip of that, and then it just really kind of makes a uninteresting bathroom just a little bit more fun.
Yeah, that's just so cool. Now, what are these?
Now this, again, is glass. Now, some of the newer trends that are coming out, especially if you want to get more contemporary, you're getting more of the lineal look instead of more of the squares. And so this one here is just showing, again, this comes on a mesh sheet, so installation is really a breeze, and also less waste with it as well. But actually this comes on a sheet, and then you just have, the different sizes of the different glass pieces. But then they also show them where you can just buy the pieces by themselves. And actually a really big trend, especially if you want to get really contemporary, is just to take some of these liner pieces, instead of doing them, traditionally we've seen them going, the horizontal way. Now we've seen them going the vertical way and just kind of mixing in different colors and just kind of doing some fun stuff with it.
Wow, great colors they come in, the green and the turquoise and this. Now, again, more traditional, this is something I could totally see in my kitchen right here.
Yes, this is a split stack stone again. And this is something that you put on the wall, and the biggest question I have with people, because it has so much texture to it, is how am I ever going to clean that?
Right, exactly.
And so really you want to put a sealer on it, but stone is still porous, and so to a certain extent, if you were to splatter tomato sauce or something on there, you may have might something happen with it, because this has a lot of texture to it, so it is a little bit more difficult to keep clean. But also in the same respect, I mean, it has so much going on with it, and it has such a range of color that, if it does get a little dirty, it kind of it almost adds to the patina.
Yeah. So cool. Rachel Monnick's out here. I think she's going to be shopping for her kitchen. It's just amazing what a difference, just a little bit. You don't have to spend a ton of money. I mean, bottom line, how inexpensive could you do something like this for if you really were watching it?
I mean, we do easily backsplashes. If we're mixing in some of the field tile with like a sheet of glass, about $500.
Wow. And I mean, it looks like $1 million. It really does. This is awesome. Thank you so much,
All right,
Tiffany.
Thank you.
Now you got me going. Uh-oh, I'm going to go home tonight and Bob's going to be in trouble. Big time.
All
Thanks
right,
so much.
Thank you.